So here we have the latest S24 FE and its older sibling, the S23 FE. So should you upgrade, or is the S23 FE now the better value for those who don't own it, especially with the price drop after this new release? Well, let's dig into it and see for ourselves. And so without taking much of your time, yo guys, let's get started. As far as these devices, same story as last year. The minimal box content, you get the smartphones, a USB-C cable, SIM ejector, and the user guide. That's it, so no one takes the lead here. When you go over to the looks, Samsung has made some subtle yet noticeable changes. The S24 FE's design philosophy leads towards a flatter side, a bit of a departure from the rounder, bulgier finish we have on the S23 FE, and that's for the sides. Personally, I like the new flat sides. It feels more modern, kind of like the difference between holding a smooth rock versus a well-chiseled one. The materials for both smartphones come with premium builds, glass front, glass back, aluminum frame. The S24 FE upgrades the durability gain by using Gorilla Glass Victus Plus, while the S23 FE has the Gorilla Glass 5. Nothing major, but hey, if you're as clumsy as I am and drop your phone more often than you'd care to admit, you might appreciate the extra protection. Both smartphones pack IP68 certification, so you're safe against accidental spills and splashes. They'll survive a dip in water up to 1.5 meters for 30 minutes. Just don't test it out intentionally, right? And one last thing about the body here, check out the bottom of the S24 FE. The speaker outlet has been redesigned here with a single slit instead of the grille we had on the S23 FE. Understated, but definitely cleaner in my opinion. Speaking of speakers, let's talk sound. Samsung has been consistently good with its stereo speakers, but this is where things get a little tough to call. The S24 FE has a slightly upgraded speakers in my opinion, and it's a subtle improvement here. So unless you're an audiophile, this might not make a huge difference for you. Okay, now the screens. The S23 FE rocks a 6.4-inch dynamic AMOLED 2X display, already a solid contender. But the S24 FE pushes the boundaries a bit further with a slightly larger 6.7 inches. You're getting the same 1080p resolution on both, but see, here's where the S24 FE's display pulls ahead, almost literally, with a peak brightness of 1900 nits versus 1450 nits on the S23 FE. That means brighter outdoor viewing with more vibrant colors. Both smartphones still rock the smooth as butter 120Hz refresh rate and the HDR10 Plus certification, so whether you're scrolling or binging Netflix, it's going to look and feel premium. Another thing I noticed is the color temperatures are slightly different. I could see a slight more magenta to the skin tones on the S24 FE, but in day-to-day use, unless you put these smartphones side by side, the difference isn't drastic. So if screen size and that little extra brightness tick your boxes, the S24 FE might win you over. Now to the real meat, performance. The S24 FE is rocking Samsung's Exynos 2400E chipset, a new generation 4nm chip with a beastly 10-core CPU. On paper, this thing is a powerhouse with its mix of efficiency and high-performance cores. Now the GPU on this device is all new too, and is definitely promising for gaming and graphic-intensive tasks. The S23 FE on the other hand, depending on your region, you could either get the Exynos 2200 or Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. Both are solid, don't get me wrong, but the numbers suggest that the S24 FE is going to pack a bit more punch overall, especially for demanding apps and multitasking. But for the average daily use, you're not going to see a massive leap unless you're throwing some heavy workloads at it, like 4K video editing or intense gaming marathons. I also did notice that after intensive gameplays, the S24 FE got quite warm, same as the S23 FE from last year. By the way, here are benchmark scores on both of these devices for you to compare, Antutu, Geekbench, and 3D Mark. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Alright guys, we're halfway through this showdown, so if you're enjoying this breakdown so far, don't forget to smash that like button and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you. Alright, let's dive into the cameras, because that's usually what gets people to upgrade, right? Both the S23 FE and the S24 FE come with triple camera setups that are nearly identical in specs. You've got a 50 megapixel main sensor with dual pixel autofocus and optical image stabilization on both models. The ultra-wide and telephoto lenses are the same, 12 megapixel ultra-wide and 8 megapixel telephoto lens with 3x optical zoom. When it comes to the photos, they are so close that you really can't tell them apart, even when comparing them side by side. It feels like Samsung used the same sensor and processing for both devices. However, I did notice that the S23 FE occasionally shows a magenta tint or shift in white balance. while the S24 FE tends to brighten the shadows a bit, giving the photos a better lit look. But honestly, you can achieve similar results on the S23 FE with a bit of editing. As far as the ultra-wide lenses, again the results are almost identical, so you are unlikely to spot a difference. You might see a bit more pop from the 3x zoom lens on the 24 FE, with less of that magenta tint compared to the S23 FE. The portrait mode, practically the same story here. Both perform similarly. Now moving on to the selfie cameras, which are 10 megapixel sensors. They deliver good results as long as you have decent lighting. I can't really say one is better than the other. Samsung definitely copied their own homework here. But here's where things get interesting. The S24 FE now supports 8K video recording at 30 frames per second. Yep, 8K, and that's a beastly resolution. Is it necessary for everyone? Probably not. But if you're into future-proofing your content or you want the flexibility of cropping into footage without losing quality, that's a definite upgrade. For the selfie videos, Samsung offers solid 4K video at both 30 FPS and 60 FPS for the two smartphones. The magenta tint issue shows up yet again with the S23 FE, especially on dark colors like this shirt here. But for front-facing content creators, both devices deliver solid results. Overall, unless 8K video recording is a must-have for you, either of these devices will serve you just fine. Now let's talk about the battery life here. The S23 FE has a 4500 mAh battery, while the S24 FE bumps it up a tad to 4700 mAh. Not huge, but combined with the more efficient Exynos 2400E chip, you're probably looking at a slightly better battery life on the newer model. There are no big surprises here regarding charging speeds. Both devices support 25 watts wired charging, and you can use them up to 50% in 30 minutes. Wireless charging comes in at 15 watts for both of them, while the reverse wireless charging is also on board with these devices. So there is no major leap in this department, just that you get a better battery life, slightly better, with the Samsung Galaxy S24 FE. Price-wise, the S24 FE is sitting at around $650 for the base model, which is 128 gigs of storage, slightly above last year's S23 FE's release price. In fact, you get the base S23 FE for about $350 right now, which is almost a steal considering what it packs. Although I won't advise going for that unit, which is the base memory configuration. You're better off getting the 256GB storage option, which should cost you around $500 or $150 less than the starting price of the S24 FE. In Nigeria, for the 256GB storage, you get the S23 FE for about 800,000 naira and the S24 FE for 1,150,000 naira. So just ask yourself, do you value these upgrades enough for the extra money? So here's the thing, if you're currently holding an S23 FE, I wouldn't say the S24 FE is a must-have upgrade unless you're chasing that subtle design refresh, the peak 8K video recording, or the slight bump in performance. But if you're coming from something older, or looking to get your hands on a device that will feel modern for longer, the S24 FE definitely steps up in enough key areas to justify the price tag. Now the display is slightly bigger and brighter, the speakers and the design feel more refined, and the Exynos 2400E chip should give you that smoother performance across the board. And with that, whether you're upgrading or staying put, drop a comment below, let me know which one you'd go for and why. You might also want to see where I compared the S24 FE against the mid-range A55 here, or better still, my review on this device, the S24 FE here. See you there. Cuídate.